So data released by the Chinese government indicated that China's exports in January jumped more than 10% compared to last year. By the same time, we're also seeing PMI, which normally indicates the contraction or expansion of the economy, has slumped to a 7-month low for January, according to HSBC. So are these numbers contradictory, given that China is still an export-led economy?
I think the PMI number is probably more comprehensive in this case because it's a combination of external demand and the internal demand. And the export number, as it says, it's net export, so it's more indicative of external demand. So in this case, the reported January number on export is positive. So assuming a portion of that is inflated, it's still directionally probably positive. So the PMI decline indicates a weakening of domestic demand.
As I know, as part of your work, you have been surveying manufacturers and trade companies on their export figures. So based on the work you have done, what is the trend you have observed in export data, and what does that tell us about the Chinese economy?
The data we've collected indicating over the past few months there's an increasing trend in over-invoicing. Coupled with this morning's PMI data, I think there's no doubt there's a big deceleration of the growth. We started doing a survey, private labeled survey last year, and I think admitted over-invoicing peaked around July. In our survey, the exporters who admitted over-invoicing was in July last year was about 45%. And it declined to about 25% in December, and in January it was about 30+%.
China is known for having unreliable data. And can you tell us perhaps, with examples, just how unreliable the data can be?
I think the most interesting example, almost laughable example, is the unemployment rate. I mean, I think it has been around 4.1% for the past 5 years. I mean, I think in 2007 it was about 4.3%, 4.0%. Then 2008, with the global financial crisis, it increased to 4.3%, and then it stagnates, lingers around the 4.2%. So I mean, you've never seen this kind of consistency anywhere else.
So for China watchers who may not have the resources, to do the kind of research that you do as part of your job, where would you suggest that they look for reliable data, or what are some type of data coming from China that may be seen as relatively more reliable indicator of the Chinese economic growth?
It's very hard to draw conclusive investment ideas or to either directionally or specifically from one index. It's wise to take a basket of index and follow them and for an extended period of time, and then kind of connecting the dots. So when you talk about external, internal demand, I mean, you can look at PMI, you can look at the export number, you can look at the shipping number, you can look at the commodity pricing, you can look at the port utilization, electricity usage, retail, reported retail numbers. So then combined, you form an idea of directionally how it goes. And I think it's very important to understand who are the conductors of the surveys, and who are the surveyees, and and what are the incentives for them to underreport or overreport. So say for example, the export data, they are collected by the custom. So the surveyees are, they would be very cautious about reporting the accurate number. So, but then when we do the private label, the survey, they just feel, we survey small-sized manufacturers and the trade companies, and I think, they are more willing to open.